do you pick the battle to stand up for yourself and say something? Because if you allow it once, you're always going to allow that type of stuff. So what is your boundaries?
I think that's the problem.
Do you have any boundaries?
I think that's the problem. I don't have boundaries.
It's kind of weird, right? Because we want to raise our kids to be kind with compassion, but I see it for myself. It's generally the people who are very strong, outspoken, are the ones that climb the ladder the fastest because they're noticeable. So this is getting into a therapy session. This is becoming a therapy session.
Welcome to Parenting Untapped by Aly Talks. Join my father and I as we dive into the mind of a teenager and discover what it takes to build a strong, effective relationship with your teen. Welcome to another episode on Parenting Untapped. I'm Aly, your host, and this is my father, Tony, your co-host. So today we're going to be talking about kindness and compassion, values that my parents have instilled in me since I was little and something I'm very proud to have. But we're going to be talking about the other side of it, how sometimes being kind can cause you to be a pushover, and how learning to stand your ground doesn't mean being mean.
This has been, a lot of, conversation with me and your mother too, is we wonder if sometimes we got it right. Well, actually, we know we got it right, but, it hurts us because we see sometimes the negative that can come with, constantly just teaching you to be kind. But let's roll it back a little bit. Let's talk about, what do you remember about how we raised you to be kind and compassionate?
I think you guys always told me to have empathy, put myself in other people's shoes. And that's not a way that I would like to be treated, then I should be doing those things.
Yeah, so I remember, as a little kid, we remember we always used to tell you, you know, it's okay, walk away, don't do this. We're always pointing out, all the little things that you should and you shouldn't be doing, and how what you do can make other people feel. But now growing up, do you see that, you know, by instilling all of those values in you, has it made anything tougher for you as a teenager?
No, yeah. I guess like what you mentioned, becoming pushover. That was my biggest thing in freshman year, and as well as learning to stand up for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, because why I wanted to do this topic specifically was, not only do I want to know more about how it has, come into effect now in high school, but to see if there was another way or a better way to do it, right? Or was there a component of the message that we missed teaching you growing up? Because, like Ali said, we've definitely have had stories, or, you coming back and telling us about situations. And I think still to this day, when you do tell us, we always tell you, don't worry about it, ignore it, just focus on what you got to do. But I'm pretty sure it must be tough. It must be tough sometimes where, you're thinking that you're doing the right thing by, being kind and, looking the other way. But sometimes I feel like with kids specifically, when you do that, it feels like they feel like they can keep coming at you and being mean to you.
Yeah.
Do you see that at all?
Yeah, I guess if you don't put a stop to it at the very first time, then it's gonna become a pattern.
So is that now kind of conditioned in you? Because I know there's been times now in high school where we're like, you know what, just, say this, stand up to you, who cares? You know? Um, does that confuse you now where it's kind of like, okay, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, like there is not really much I can do, right?
Yeah, there is.
I'm not the confrontational type. I'm not going to.
I know, I get it, right? And, technically we wouldn't want you to ever be confrontational, right? But sometimes, it hurts us as parents, right? To see you going through those things and looking back, it's kind of like, we wonder, we're like, dude, were we too much on, making sure that she doesn't do the wrong thing? And now when other people do things that are, not nice, she's kind of just taking it.
I mean, it's a mean world. There's not gonna be one way to fix it, right? Like, I mean, I would rather you teach me these values of being kind than the other way around, right?
So you said freshman year, is that the first time you've noticed that, hey, we live in a world where, people are just mean. Like, how do you be kind to somebody like,
Well, it was middle school, right?
oh, middle school already?
Yeah, but I think it was when I realized that was being pushed over in freshman year.
You know how I was raised by my brother. I was raised a little bit differently.
How so?
If somebody was mean, my brother would fight, you better go fight him. For
What was different for you guys?
and it's like, oh, if you don't take care of it, don't come home. like
Oh.
like Uncle Tom and Uncle Tim, they were I mean, I was raised, because grandma and grandpa, they was always at work, right? And I looked up to my brothers. So, it's a little bit different. But, I don't think I've lost, the compassion for people and to be kind. I just knew that if I allowed other people to bully me, they will continue to bully me. And that topic in itself is pretty deep. There's, strangely, I don't know why. I mean, it feels like times has gotten better. I feel like no matter, the environment, it feels like bullying is still there. And it seems like a lot of people do those things. And like from your experience, do you see that, if we taught you to stand up for yourself a little bit more and maybe not be confrontational, but be a little bit more not so passive, do you think that would still exist? Or what would you think would happen if the approach was how I was raised, where if somebody says something, I might just snap back? I mean, I'm not saying to fight them, but I'm just saying,
That's
I'm going to,
aggressive.
huh?
That's aggressive.
I want to snap back and be like, hey, don't tell me those things, or don't say that about me.
I couldn't. Like, I don't know. Like, I couldn't see myself saying that to somebody.
I know. I mean, you're a sweetheart. I mean, we raised you to be a sweetheart, but it sucks, when we hear certain stories, there's just people out there that I don't know, they just, if nobody stands up to them or say something to them, they kind of, just think it's cool that they can just keep doing it.
But, like, yeah, F is mean comments, right? People have all sorts of reasons for being mean, and that's their own problem in itself.
So if you had to turn back time, you still think that you would be how you are and approach life the way that you approach it?
It's disappointing, I'd say, that I can't stand up to people or that I don't want to, because like, I feel like we'll just start more problems, right? But I don't think it would change how I was raised.
What about your group of friends? How are they? Are they similar to you in the way that you guys react and treat others?
Some are confrontational. Ask them straight up. He said this about me. Um, Guys and girls are different. Guys, they make jokes about it, maybe. Um, Girls, I don't know. I think, yeah, it varies. A lot of my friends are very similar to how I am, though.
Do you think that if we weren't so pushy with being nice, being kind, because even remember when you were kids, even when we were at places, and we I think there was times where how kids are when you're playing, two multiple kids are playing, and kids tend to just grab things and take it, and it was just like, oh, it's okay, I mean, just let them play it. But I think that's like
Little
similar,
things like that.
like little things like that usually ends up teaching the kid that it's okay to let somebody step over them a little bit, right? Take things away from them when it doesn't belong to them without saying, hey, I was playing with that, that's mine. But I don't know. As parents, what are we supposed
So
to
I
do?
think other people do that. It's just me that don't.
I don't. But I don't.
Even like little things like that happened recently, right? It was during chapel at our school, and I was sitting down, and I was like late to chapel, and I couldn't see. We have like seating charts where our classes are, and I couldn't see where my class was, but I know it was like near my area, so I sat down, and then there's like these two boys that came up. I think they were younger, and then they just were staring at me, and like I could feel like I was probably in their seat, but I didn't know, and they didn't say anything like for me to move or anything, and so they were like, so they just like I like moved over so they can like come in, and there was like so much space, like half the bench, right? Because there's like it's in the basketball gym, and so 'cause on this bleacher stuff, right? And so there was, like, a lot of space for them to sit, and so they were, like I don't think they wanted me there, so they were, like, kind of, like, pushing me off the seat, and it was, like I don't but I thought they were, like, play fighting each other, and it was kinda, like, pushing me off the seat, and then eventually there was, like, no room for me to sit, so I just sat, like, on the stairs.
Yeah, like, but I mean, that's like so aggressive. I mean, like, I don't know what it's so tough for parents because I don't know. I mean, I can't, I don't want to say that it was me. I'd be like, I'd tell you, like, dude, go push me back, get your seat back, right? But
It was
it's
no
like,
big deal too.
it's no big deal, but it is a big deal at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. It's like,
Yeah.
that kind of pisses me off.
Yeah. No.
I mean, but throughout your life, I mean, you've told us a lot of various stories of similar situation, right? Where, a kid did this or a kid did that, and as you absolutely know it's wrong of them to do it. Um, I don't know, it's tough. I mean, for parents, I mean, what are we supposed to do?
It sucks that
Like, what are we supposed to do when your child tell you this happened? Like, what are we supposed to advise you? You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I guess like the usual typical response would be like, "Oh, stand up for yourself."
Oh, yes and no, right? Yes and no. Yes and no, right? I mean, I think there are plenty of parents that's gonna be like stand up to yourself, but then what type of standing up? What happened if it escalates?
Like, yeah,
What happened if it escalates?
I guess no one assumes it should escalate. It should just be like, "Oh, I was sitting there," you know, or "Oh, that was my ball."
Do you think that if you had stood your ground, it would have escalated, or do we have to teach our kid that hey, be strong, but then also understand that if it escalates, walk away.
Back off.
You get what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
It's like it's weird.
There's like levels to it.
So it's like I guess you got to teach your kids that hey, you know what? It's not cool that those boys did that. You know, you had the rightfulness to sit on that seat.
Yeah, I don't think it would have escalated. I just think that I didn't want to speak up for myself. It's just very weird. To me, it's just very weird to be like, "Oh, that was my seat. Like, why are you guys purposely trying to push me off? Like, I know that we."
Well, why is it weird though? Is it because of the way that you were raised, or is just who you became, or like I'm curious
Both, and it's like there's a time place.
because there is plenty that will be like, bro, what are you doing? This is my seat.
Pick your battles. It's a seat. That's why
I know, but it hurts. I mean, if it bothers you, I mean, okay, so at what point do you pick the battle to stand up for yourself and say something? Because if you allow it once, you're always gonna allow that type of stuff.
I'm trying to think if I've ever stood up for myself. I feel like there has to be a time, right?
I think
I mean,
through the years, I've heard more stories of you just accepting it than, because you've always told it, "Yeah, I'd rather not deal with it. You know, like you said, I mean, it's just a chair."
yeah.
I think you sway a little bit more on the too kind.
And sometimes that too kind can get taken advantage of because they saw me sitting there alone by myself. So
We don't want you to be like crazy either. And this is my seat and cause a big old ruckus. That's not what we want you to be either.
right.
There's such a fine line of how you want your kids to be.
Yeah, and then there's like I know there's people that similar things have happened actually, because I remember telling my friends about like the seat thing, and they were talking about it. It's just a similar thing that was happening to them, right? There was like guys in the back kneeing them and stuff, but she stands her ground. But she's a very kind person. But she like up and told, and they were forced to apologize to her.
So you said she's still kind. Why do you think she has, I don't know, I want to call it feistiness, but she stands up for herself, but she's still kind. And then how come certain situations you're not like?
Kindness, right? Like I'm kindness all around. Like
Do you enjoy being that way, or do you sometimes don't want to be that way, but then you're just so used to being that way?
I'm so used to being that way.
So if we told you next time that happened, I want you to speak up, would you be able to, or is it gonna be too difficult now?
I want to speak up.
Why? What's wrong with speaking up?
Why would you speak up?
Because if it bothers you, you should be able to speak up about it.
For battles.
Okay, but you're not picking any battle at all.
No, it's just okay. There's just different levels to kind. Like she's kind, but she's still like, if she doesn't like something, then she's gonna talk about it.
Okay. So what is your boundaries?
I think that's the problem.
Do you have any boundaries?
I think that's the problem. I don't have boundaries.
Like how do we, how do you think parents can teach their kids that you can still be kind, but you should also have some boundaries?
I think maybe those are what you have to instill.
But how? How would you instill that? I'm lost myself,
Mm. Maybe you're the parent. Like,
well, you're supposed to give us advice. Like, what would you, is it more of a green light from parents to say, hey, honey, you know what? Go speak up.
like certain parents are okay.
Do you think that with Elena, if, let's just say she comes home first grade and somebody took her toy or something?
Well, the thing is with Elena, if it was me, I'd tell her, why would you let them take your toy?
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
The one thing, I noticed, like your aunt, like even for us as parents, we're prideful, I guess. I guess that's the word. We're not the type of parents that will go to the teacher and, oh, this happened, da 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 da. We probably won't even say nothing to the teacher. Like, I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Like, if you had saw us say, hey, no, you know what? We're gonna go talk to the teacher. For us, we're like prideful. We don't want to embarrass you, so then we kind of like just let things slide. And do you think that has something to do with it? Like, if let's just say Elena came home and Elena was like, oh, mom, dad, this kid took my toy. And then the next day we went to the teacher and we're like, this happened, this happened, this happened. And having Elena see that, do you think that changes the way that she would be?
maybe, yeah.
And you never saw that from us, because I'm pretty sure there are times where things happen at school, elementary school,
Yeah.
and we never did anything.
Yeah, because I didn't want you to.
I know, we listened to you. Every single time you're like, no, don't do nothing, don't say nothing. So we're like, okay. And I think that maybe we didn't teach you to set boundaries.
I think so.
Do you think it's harder for somebody like you who has been raised this specific way to start setting some boundaries? Because in that particular situation, I would have really wanted you to, especially if they're boys, I would have wanted you to be like, hey,
Well,
what are you doing?
the thing is, like,
You're crossing into my private space. Please don't touch me. There's plenty of space over there. Like,
that's so awkward. And like, again, there's a time and place because it was.
what would stop them from doing it, right?
Nice.
They literally were trying to shove you off of the bench on purpose. At what point do you say, hey, I'm sitting here? I think, you have to stand up for yourself at times. So, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay, so what scenarios do I know? Like, when should you just let it go?
Honestly, I don't think you should let anything go if it doesn't sit right with you. To be honest, I very much want you to be vocal about things that you're not okay with. You have to kind of understand that, you know what I mean, what is right and what's right. I mean, I don't want you to voice yourself, even if you're wrong, right? You have to have that common sense to be like, yeah, this situation right here is not, it's not cool.
I mean, with people I'm comfortable with, like my friends, I feel like I do say things on my mind.
Like if it's, I don't know, oh, I heard this person said this thing, yeah, maybe that's whatever, right? But if it's a ongoing and it's hurting your reputation, yeah, I would say that's, maybe that's the time to say, hey, what's going on? I've heard you said this thing about me, said that thing about me. It's not true.
They're gonna be talking more about that encounter.
In the other friend's case that you were telling me that she really has, stand up, how would she treat it? I'm just curious. In certain situations, how would your friends do it? Do you look at that and be like, oh, you know what, I should be like that at all? Or do you just like, hey, now this is who I am. I'm comfortable. This is
Yeah. No, because she went to like a very similar thing. Not like shoving off the seat, but more like meeting her in the back.
you wish you were different in that way, or are you happy the way that you are?
I'm happy. But like again, there's like
So you're happy how you are, but there are situations that you just don't like,
yeah,
and you deal with it in life.
yeah.
When you get to work, when you get into the workforce, there's a lot of competitiveness.
Oh, you tell me, like the finance froze.
There are situations where people will be testing you all the time too, and a lot of people can make your life miserable, and you have to be prepared for that.
Yeah,
Do you ever think about that at all?
yeah. I mean, you tell me all the time, like even DACA and speech and debate, right? Like especially like finance, right? Male dominated field or whatever, and it's gonna be hard, and you're gonna have to deal with guys that treat you a certain way.
When you step into the real world, it's competitive, it's cutthroat. They don't care. If they see weakness, they will pounce. They will make lies, for promotion. They will kick you so that they look good. Like that's just the way it is. It's kind of weird, right? Because we want to raise our kids to be kind with compassion, but I see it for myself. It's generally the people who are very strong, outspoken, are the ones that climb the ladder the fastest because they're noticeable. The quiet ones that just does good work, sits there, in a corner,
Well, nice doesn't mean quiet.
they go unnoticed. Well, I'm just saying, but let's just say, for example, their coworker is always, trying to outshine them, and maybe even, and if they don't respond or they don't say nothing back, they go unnoticed.
I see that, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I guess kind can also mean that sometimes you fight less, and usually the mean ones are the one that fight more.
I wouldn't want to be mean though.
No, I mean, not mean, but I guess like aggressive, you know? Do you feel that you're going to have that issue later on in life of standing up for yourself,
Well, I want to say no.
climbing to the top
Well,
by any means necessary?
like doing what I can do in my control, yes. But giving one up somebody or, I don't know about that one.
Do you think people would respect you more if you showed, I don't want to say that you don't respect yourself, but if you showed more respect for yourself by standing up for yourself, do you think that the problems that, sometimes you face would still be there for?
Yeah, I see that. People like to, I guess, I kind of go after the people that seem weaker, right?
What do you wish we taught you earlier about setting boundaries and what type of boundaries to set and how to go about it?
Trying to think, like, what are some of my boundaries now? I don't have them. Like, I don't have them, like, listed, like, what are my boundaries? What are your boundaries?
What are my boundaries?
What are your boundaries?
At work, I demand honesty, right? So if somebody total lie or, said something about me that is not true, I will stand up for myself. I would make sure that the facts are straight. Um, you know me, I value my time. So anybody who wastes my time, I let it be known. I mean, I don't know. Am I being mean? I don't know. It's just
I don't have boundaries.
I wasn't always like this, but as I continue to progress in my career, um, yeah, I have a lot more boundaries now, believe it or not.
What about back then?
Back then, I always had boundaries. Like I didn't really let anybody disrespect me. Um, but I put up with, like the normal stuff that teenagers in high schools deal with. Like I had a lot of boundaries at that time, right? Like I, made sure that, nobody disrespected me, things like that. But once I got to work and later on in life where I don't have to deal with those type of stuff, then I deal with the people who waste my time. That happens a lot where I hate unproductive meetings. I let it be known, when
What about like personally, not in business?
I have certain boundaries, like I said, you can't hurt me. Obviously, that
Oh, well, like,
I would defend myself 100% if somebody tried to attack me or hurt me. That's one. If somebody lied about me, I told you that I would confront the situation and make sure that, you know, anything that is said about me is factual. Um,
for sure.
now is like, I guess, like, when I was, if there was a road rage now, I'd just be like, okay, whatever, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'd still be upset, but then I wouldn't be as upset as I used to be. Back in the days when I was younger and more of a hothead, then I guess road rage and things like that could be more of you know, a thing. But now I kind of, guess you can say, lax on the boundaries. I don't know.
Right. No, yeah, like I can say I have those boundaries, right? But it's like I don't act on them or like stand my ground.
So I mean, you don't have the boundaries if you don't act on it.
Well, okay, I can say like, sure, I want that.
Well, what I was saying is you may have boundaries, but if you don't act on it, then you kind of don't have boundaries, right?
Hmm.
And I think that's what we're talking about is how do you have certain boundaries where you will protect it at all costs, right?
How many?
Like if you say, okay, buddy, you cannot step foot into my house. And the moment you step foot into my house, I'm going to attack you or I'm going to do whatever it is to not let you into my house.
Yeah, I don't have boundaries then.
Why?
I don't know.
That's kind of scary.
Now that I think about it, it is.
It's kind of scary, right? I mean, there's just certain non-negotiables, right? Like, obviously, like I said, physical, when somebody touch you, when somebody hits you, like that.
What are you supposed to do about it?
Where somebody hits you or touch you, you defend yourself.
No, it's no, it's just like it's just awkward, you know? Like you just like but if I let it slide, then I'm like, okay, it'll be over.
In certain cases, it could be over right then and there, but make you feel like crap later on. So, and what you're protecting is your emotions and your feelings when you have those boundaries, right?
Hmm. So how do I
So this is getting into a therapy session. This is becoming a therapy session. Like,
well, I genuinely don't know. It's not like I don't want to, it's just like I can't.
you can't or you don't know how. Or you know how, but it just can't come out.
It's just all of it?
Do you visualize it?
No, I don't visualize it.
No, you don't.
You visualize this thing?
All the time.
You visualize yourself going up to somebody?
Yeah, I visualize it all the time. When something happened, I visualize how will I fix the situation or how do I, yeah, I do. Maybe that's what you're missing. I don't know. For example, this is, some happens at work. I heard somebody say something about the company and it didn't sit well with me, I visualized how I was going to confront that employee to rectify the situation. That happens all the time. And sometimes I have to be smart about it. And I told you about it too, is sometimes I have to wait until both sides are no longer angry or emotion.
Well, it makes sense
Then
in your
I
case.
go, but that's the same situation.
Well, it makes sense in your case.
Even if it was a student, if I was in college or high school or whatever, and something had happened, somebody had said something, I would also make sure that I visualize how I was going to confront the situation without it escalating. Like, that's the smart me now, right? That's the smart me. Back in the days, you can say that there's a lot of people who they won't do it, and what that does, it escalates situation, right? You go and hey, why did you say this about me? Da 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 da, and then all of a sudden it might turn into a fight or something. But the smart me would be like, nope, I'm not trying to fight, but I want to make sure that it is known that this is what I know, this is what I heard, and don't be spreading rumors and,
I think it's just exhausting. It's tiring knowing that.
So what's more tiring, that you allow something like that to eat you inside?
Well, to argue with somebody who obviously doesn't have like the human decency to keep to themselves. Yeah. It's just a problem with how they were raised. It's a problem with them themselves. And it's like, you're not going to fix that. It's like, right? Because, like,
I mean, you got a point. I mean, they're
it's a waste of breath, a waste of energy.
But then now the next question is this. I agree that there are situations where it may not even be worth your breath, but will you allow it to bother you? That's the next question, right? I'm perfectly fine if, and we're talking about minor things, right? We're talking about somebody spreading a rumor about you or something, right? It's okay to not confront the situation, but you also can't allow that to bother you. Because if it does bother you, then it's a bigger problem.
Well, as a people pleaser, there's just like so many factors, right? Like, it's just like, okay, too kind, right? You're a people pleaser as well. So it's like, what are you supposed to do?
I told you how I would have been, I don't know, growing up,
Mm,
I confront situations.
well, yeah, you shouldn't let it bother you.
I
But
get,
that's just me.
I just didn't confront situations smartly.
There's some people like me who, they don't do anything either, but it doesn't bother them. It just bothers me.
So how do you fix that?
I'm still figuring that out. Thanks, therapist.
Oh, I don't know. I think this episode kind of got way deeper than it was meant, because I think it's a real issue, right? Because I think that I see it in you. I still wouldn't change the fact that I would raise a child with values of being kind to others, compassionate, empathy. But after having you and seeing sometimes you getting hurt, there's something more as a parent that I feel that we should have taught you
Or done.
to mitigate some of the pains that you might have gone through, right?
Right. I think maybe it's about setting the boundaries, knowing what your boundaries are, like enforcing those boundaries upon them, as well as not letting things affect you. Because if there's people like me, right, it's fine if you don't.
Yeah, that's the one thing about you, is everything affects you, kind of.
I'm a sensitive person.
Everything kind of affects you, because sometimes, I say that too, I'm like, oh,
I'm a sensitive person.
why does it bother you so much? But it bothers you.
I care too much.
You dwell on it a little bit too much. You let it affect your day.
Also an overthinker.
And that's the worst part of it, right? Is not only are you taking the back seat and allowing somebody else to be mean, but then you're also letting them affect you well after
Mm.
the situation.
Yeah.
Right. To me right now, it's like, okay, you can say whatever you want to say about me. I don't care. It would just motivate me to, do better.
Right.
Yeah, I don't take, those situations too heavily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just being an overthinker.
People say bad things about me all the time. People will always say they're better than me, whatever.
Growing up, I've always wanted to be liked by everyone too. Like, I wanted to be liked by everyone. I cared what everyone thought. I wanted, I don't want to cause drama or like dwell or like cause an issue about like one thing
Which
said.
which is not, which is not abnormal, right? I mean, when you feel that way and people who are not being mean or not being nice to you, I don't get where the parallels of I let them do whatever they want, but then I also care too much about what they feel about me. So shouldn't that means that you should just fix the situation? Be like, hey, you know what? I don't think that's true.
It's an internal.
Because if you cared about what they thought about you, you would try to rectify it.
Right.
Right? Like, oh, you know what you're saying is not true about me at all. That this didn't happen, that didn't happen, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then it'll be fixed. But you don't do that.
I feel like it'll be worse if you do that and then doesn't give you another some type of lead. Because like I said,
I think you're definitely an overthinker. Because maybe some situation could be solved easily, but maybe you just don't solve it. And it's just...
probably.
Well, I don't know. But this episode has been quite long.
It's an internal issue, guys.
It was a powerful topic, in my opinion, because I think there's a lot of people out there that's probably in your same shoes, right? And I think there's a lot of parents who are raising kids, teenagers, they're probably battling with the same questions, right? Like, am I raising my kids to be too nice? Or in some cases, am I raising my kid to be too mean? I don't know.
Right.
But hopefully that helps.
I think the one thing to get out of this was probably, I guess, like instill those values of being nice, having compassion, but also having those boundaries set.
And we'll definitely try to figure that out and make sure your little baby sister, just go fight everybody. That's fine.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Doing that.
Alrighty. Till the next episode. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks for tuning into Parenting Untapped. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow and subscribe wherever you listen so you don't miss the next one. Want to gain even more valuable insights into understanding and connecting with your teens? Then head on over to parentinguntapped.com and subscribe to our email list for exclusive updates. Until next time, see you later.